I got the, that's my dick.
Can you get back on it? Get back on
If you put a caption on it, Dee whips it out for the crowd. I like that, the headband on it. So ladies can find it more easily. Hey assholes, get in here, you're missing the good shit. Okay.
Highlight of the day for sure, man.
I'm working on it. All right, where am I? Yes, hello.
Alrighty, let's start at the beginning. What made you want to get into the entertainment industry?
What made me want to get into the entertainment industry? Are all the mics going to be like this? You're fired. Let's try this one. Does it say Mr. Microphone on it? Yeah, I saw the commercial for that thing, right? My kid had one. What made me want to get? I gotta stand up. This is a tough question. Plus, I'm strangely drawn to that horse. It was really kind of simple. I'm the oldest of 6 children, and I was the firstborn in the entire family. Meaning, you know, the brothers, sisters. There was no other child in the world until the golden child, moi, was born. That lasted about 9 months. Till everybody started shitting out kids like it was a fucking competition, and I went from being, held up. Oh, it's so wonderful. You take care of yourself, son. And from that, and so I strangely need attention. Strangely, and I saw a path. The Beatles appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show. I'm old, and I was around when that happened, but I didn't actually see them on TV. Because my father had banned television in our home. He decided that we needed to get back to the simpler things, conversation, making puzzles, reading. So while the Beatles were changing the world, I was making a fucking puzzle. But the next day, and that was the impact, going to the bus stop, I remember everybody, and this is like 3rd grade, right? And everybody's just like electrified. And I was like, whoa, what's going on? You didn't see it last night? No, we don't have TV. The Beatles, I'm like, what's that? He goes, it's a rock band. Everybody was screaming. And the minute I heard those words, everybody was screaming. I said to Russell Niederman, who I hated, and I said, I am going to be a Beatle. And I found out quickly I couldn't be a Beatle, but I could be in a rock band, and that was, and from then, attention whore. Okay.
So you mentioned the Beatles as being an influence. Can you talk about other musical influences in your group?
Well, the Beatles is an easy one to say, but very quickly I started leaning towards bands that seemed to have more attitude and edge. And when the late 60s arrived, and bands like Mountain and Blue Cheer and Cream and Hendrix, even people who were playing with distorted guitars, and they seemed to be leaning in another direction. Me and some of my friends sort of just fell into that and said, well, this is what we like. It wasn't called metal back then, it was called hard rock or whatever. And proudly, I'm one of the people who destroyed the Woodstock Nation, so you're welcome. Up until heavy metal, everybody was like, oh, we love all music. And then Black Sabbath showed up, like, oh, we don't like that. Well, I fucking love that shit. I was in a Black Sabbath tribute band. It was my first band, and not my first band, but early 1969, and all we played was Black Sabbath. So I just, Zeppelin, Sabbath, Deep Purple, then it goes Alice Cooper, and then it just starts going, and then heavy metal becomes defined, Okay, keep going.
Tell us your thoughts on the state of metal today.
The state of metal? The state of metal, and this is people over here who the older people are going to go, what the fuck is he saying? Is in great shape. Unfortunately, we are all unaware because it's no longer mass marketed. It's no longer, there's no more MTVs. There's the form of advertising where you had to put up billboards, so whether you liked it or not, Motley Crue was in everybody's face for the month of June when the new album came out. That's gone. Everything is target marketed, social media, and there is this really rabid fan base, but they're small, but intense for these different metal bands that are out there. And my kids are metalheads, thank God, and they take me to shows, and I've seen so many of these bands, and I walk into these small venues, and like, they're packed, the fans are singing every single word, the passion like you haven't seen, but there's only 500 or 1,000 people there, you know, and so within their realm, they're great bands, and they're incredible, but there's just not a mass awareness. Rock stars are gone. I mean, there's no new rock stars really, because to be a rock star, everybody has to know about you. You gotta be in everybody's face. That's what makes a rock star, is they're larger than life. So the metal scene is great, it's just woefully, it's just the world doesn't get to hear it. It's just not readily available.
Coffee has arrived.
I've been thinking about you for a long time. I can't wait to put my lips on you. Oh, sorry, is the mic on? Now the mic fucking works. Man, thank you. Okay, go ahead.
So here's a fun question before we go.
Guys, he's gonna go, he needed more coffee? Oh, shit's gonna get fucking wild now. My guitar player, Eddie Ojeda, okay, quick story, excuse me, I missed that. He used to time my caffeine. I never did drugs, but caffeine is a drug, everybody. And he used to literally time it, and he'd go, oh yeah, here it goes. And he knew like 20 minutes after the cup, shit was going down. And I was in the earliest days of Twisted Sister, we're rehearsing, you know, in the first few months with the band, and the band meeting's called. I'm like, oh, my first band meeting, this is great. Never been in a band meeting. I'm the new guy. This is cool. Band meeting comes out, and I'll sit down. All of a sudden, realize that the four guys are over there looking at me, and I'm here by myself. They go, dude, you got to back off the caffeine. You're fucking out of your mind. Literally, they tried to put me out of the band if I didn't drink less coffee. So, get ready.
Dio, I was curious about an opinion.
I like how calm these guys are being. We're going to continue to conduct ourselves as professional engineers. And just the fact this guy is sitting on my head, I'm wearing him like a hat. So I'm not going to go out. Okay, go ahead.
Do you have an opinion on Gene Simmons trying to trademark the devil horns?
Gene Simmons, yes! Gene Simmons, do I have an opinion on? I'm apparently the only person willing to speak up when any of my peers act like idiots. And don't get me wrong, I love them. I'm an original Kiss fan. Day one, I predate Day One because I'm from New York, and Kiss was in the area, and the buzz was already out that there was this band. I'm holding on to this thing like it's a... and Kiss, there was already a buzz. Like, so I was the first person at the record store, like, heard about this band Kiss, you know, it was in the 73, no, 4, whatever it was, right around there. Glitter era, raging, you know, awesome. So I read the earliest Kiss interviews. The first, there was a magazine called Rock Scene. I read those articles, and the first thing Gene Simmons says in one of his first interviews is, I'm a big fan of Marvel Comics. I got all of my moves from Spider-Man. So now he's invented the double horns. No, you're shooting webs. And you fucking know it. Keep the thumbs in, people. Gene's watching. Are you working, Gene?
No.
All right.
So tell us about joining Twisted Sister and sort of the start of all of that.
Joining Twisted Sister. I was at a particular low point in my life. You know, I was looking for that new band and the band. I was working a terrible day job on a loading dock where they used to mock me by calling me rock star because I was 19 and, you know, and we were all like, a whole bunch of us, the store just opened and we all showed up, you know, for the first day of work, and they had HR. It wasn't called HR back then, but they sat us down to tell us about the benefits of working for Corvette's department store. They're telling us the benefits. They're long gone, bankrupt, but Corvettes. And so everybody's sitting there, and these other 19-year-olds are going, So if I'm with the company for the next 10 years, will my wife receive prenatal benefits? I'm looking at these fucking teenagers. Dude, this is the loading dock. This is like, nothing wrong with the loading dock, man, but I'm saying, this is your end game right here? I go, well, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm gonna be a fucking rock star. Oops. Yeah, rock star had to clean every vomit pile, every baby's diaper, every bit of gum on the floor. Hey, get the rock star to wipe that shit up. So, good story though. So, years later, I was a rock star, and People magazine is doing an featured article on me, and they take me back to my high school. Now, mind you, in my high school, nobody even knew I existed. I was fucking invisible. I was just that weird dude in high school. But now, this time when I go back to high school, it's like I'm a Pied Piper. I come in with a camera crew. I mean, I'm mobbed. I'm walking through the hallways with just a mob of people, and I'm walking, and I see a guy pushing a broom, and it's fucking Carl from Corvettes. The one who fucking nicknamed me Rockstar. True story. So I'm gonna roll up, camera crew, it's awesome. Hair out there, fucking fantastic. And I roll up, Carl! It's me, Rockstar! Carl's leaning out, he goes, yeah. I said, how's it going with you, man? Needless to say, revenge is sweet. Don't let anybody ever tell you different. Revenge is very, very sweet.
Oh, fuck.
Thank you.
So, this might be a tough question. Maybe not, I can't read you at all.
Look, a squirrel.
You were the main songwriter on most of the Twisted Sister songs. Do you have one that you're most proud of? One that you maybe had something close to you?
I wrote every single Twisted Sister song by myself. I am the single sole songwriter of Twisted Sister. No, don't applause. And that came about because I was the new guy in the band. Remember, they said they almost fired me for too much caffeine. And they already had some original material, and they were all like older than me at the time. So imagine they're really old. And and I didn't like their songs they were writing, you know. And so I was bitching about the songs. These songs suck. These songs suck. And they were like, dude, you got any better songs? And I was like, you know, so that's a dick move, by the way. It's like talking shit about people and not having at least say another suggestion. Say like, I don't like this, but what about that? You know, just be one of those guys who tear shit down. It's a dick move on my part. But they shut me down. I went into my room and I started writing, and I never stopped. And I just kept writing and writing and writing and writing and writing. So, to favorite song. Actually, it's not what you would think. My favorite song, well, I got two. You Can't Stop Rock and Roll and I Am On Me. They're from our second album, You Can't Stop Rock and Roll. And they're, I mean, believe me, I love We're Not Gonna Take It. Thank you, God. And I want to rock, but people say, which ones? I Am On Me, if you haven't heard them, it's a personal sort of declaration of independence. And You Can't Stop Rock and Roll is just, to me, really defines Twisted more because, you know, we got known for these, like, you know, great anthems and stuff, but we were a metal band at our core, and the Can't Stop Rock and Roll was anthemic, but metallic as well.
So you had a stage persona, the makeup, the hair, all of that.
Wait, is this the first time hearing about it? Can you describe it to me?
Lots of makeup,
Okay.
big hair,
Okay, yeah.
outlandish.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Talk about coming up.
It's all coming back to me now.
Talk about coming up with that.
That evolved. Twisted Sister, when I joined them, they were a remnant glitter band from the early 70s, the days of Bowie and the New York Dolls and stuff like that. And they had actually been around in the early 70s and broken up in like 75. And a couple of the guys reformed the band in 76. And I was aware of them from the local club scene. And I was, now by 76, the whole glitter thing is done. But I'm like this kid from the burbs, and I'm like still grooving on like, you know, that stuff. I don't care what they're saying in the cities. You know, I loved the excitement of the makeup and the costumes. You know, Kiss was still carrying the torch for that. So when I came to the band, I sort of pushed the band to keep going in that. All right, who brought the baby? I love babies. I love babies. They taste delicious, he said. No, I'm honestly, Dee's not going to eat you. But he might. Anyway, so, you know, so I really liked the glam stuff. But Twisted was very, was like literally wearing women's clothing in the early days. I have worn some stuff that I'm pretty proud of, actually. When I look back, I remember this one time the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame wanted to display the Stay Hungry outfit, so I had to go through the stuff. Now, you guys, you know, you think about us, you know, rock stars and personalities and how, you know, everything, you know, something like that. The Stay Hungry outfit, it would be treasured. Contrarily, it was just thrown into the big box with all the other costumes, unwashed, like layers of sediment and just sticking together and disgusting. So I got my kids with me, and I'm going through the box and I'm digging through, and it smells terrible, and trying to find the outfit. And as we get down through layers of sediment, we get to the early days where there are some negligees, there's some fishnet stockings, there's some very feminine women's clothing. And my eight-year-old Cody, looking in the box, turns to me and goes, "Dad, did you used to be a transsexual?" And with great pride, I said to my son, "No, son, of course not. I was a transvestite. If I was a transsexual, you wouldn't be here." So anyway, it evolved. But the kicker, and this is a good story, and the kicker is where the real game changer was. I met my wife, Suzette. Now, Suzette and I have been together 41 years. Some of you have seen our reality TV. Hot as fuck. But amazing woman. And the woman behind the band, she did all the costumes, all the makeup, the Twisted Sister Bone logo. She has been there, all 5'3", 115 pounds, like, you know, just sort of creating that image. But it all started, okay, she came down, she's like 15 years old. Oh yeah, that's a little side thing. People say, "You don't do drugs, you don't drink, you're not very rock and roll." My wife was 15 when I started there. Oh, okay, Jerry Lee Lewis, welcome to the club. So anyway, she had come to see me perform. "Kane, what's up, brother? Look, the caffeine's hitting me, man. Kane on, everybody." My dear friend Kane. So Suzette had come to the club, and I remember it like it was yesterday. It was like fucking May. We just started dating, and she's Italian, so she got that early tan going on, blonde hair, and she was wearing this aqua top. It was one shoulder, it was a knit with fringe. It was, Jesus. Anyway, I made a stink over that top. So it was a couple weeks later, she's come to see me. She says, "You know what, maybe I'll wear that top again." Dee really loved it. So she walks into the bar. Now remember, we're not famous, we're not popular, there's nobody there. She walks into the bar, and I am on stage wearing the same top. I see she has our top on, and I'm very excited. So now I'm on stage going, oh. Like, waving to her, just in case she doesn't notice her boyfriend is wearing a turquoise one-shoulder mesh top. So when it's a true story. So I come bounding off the stage. "Hey, you got her tops on." So okay, she's 17, right? She's like, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Why did you buy my fucking top?" I said, "What? I told you I love your top. Where'd you get your top? Remember I said that to you?" So she thought I loved it on her, I wanted it on me. So shortly after that, she started making costumes for us, and she said, "That's the end of my boyfriend wearing my shit." And while I at some point thought I was pretty, I don't know why, she just said, "You're fucking scary, motherfucker. And you're not, that's not makeup, that's war paint you've got on your face." And so she developed what somebody once called Raggedy Ann on acid. You know, it was all the tattered shit, you know, and all that. So thank you, Suzette.
So it's May 10th, 1984.
Is this Scooby-Doo?
Stay Hungry comes out. Can you walk us through kind of what happened whenever you realized that you're big time.
Okay, yeah, sure. Of course, that stuck in my mind. It was a pretty good year. So what happens is, in the States, the rule of thumb, it takes like 12 weeks for a new record to sort of get to the stores, get to the radio stations. There's a time lag, at least back in the days. It wasn't like now where it's digital everything, okay? So what bands would do is they go to Europe, because in Europe it was much more immediate. A record would come out, you do shows. The countries, in Europe, countries are the size of states. So it's a much quicker reaction time. So Twisted had broken in the UK, so we went back to England. And we're over there and we're hearing reports that that Stay Hungry and we're not going to take it, they're doing really well back in the States. But it's like, oh, that's cool, yeah, it's really blowing up. But hearing those words thousands of miles away, again, no benefit of social media, you can't get that immediate reaction. So you just it's like words. So I come home from the road and I get home and my wife she brings me down to earth. I float into the house, oh God. And she goes, yeah, empty the diaper, Genie, it smells like shit. What? Empty the diaper, Genie, it smells like shit. Okay. And then I'm back down to earth. We have the saying in our house is you leave your cool at the door. Okay, so and kudos to her for being leveling because I could be fucking gone. Anyway, so I come in. Oh yeah, right. Yeah. We need milk for the baby. Okay. So I get in the car and I'm driving to the local store, 7-Eleven, whatever, to get some milk. And I turn on the radio, and we're not going to take this on. Oh, that's kind of cool. I go, I wonder what's playing on the other rock station. I lived in the New York area, so hit the button. We're not going to take this on. I go, cooler. I'm going for the trifecta. The third rock station. Bam. When I go, yes, 3 for 3! And I kind of knew then, like fucking, we had arrived, when every station is playing your song at the same time. That was pretty awesome. And that was a good day. Except for the diaper, Genie.
So, year after MTV debuts the Headbangers Ball, and you were the first host?
Yeah, I co-created, Liz Nealon, a producer. What happened was, word came down in '85 actually, that MTV was going to cut back on metal. Now, first of all, heavy metal helped make MTV. When they were, okay, here he goes again. When they launched, they were desperately looking for visual bands. And they found out why Joe Jackson only had his shoes on the album cover. You didn't want to see Joe Jackson's face. And Supertramp, these bands are bands that videos killed the radio star. They were dead in the water, like, hey, I'm Joe. Oh, fuck, Jesus. So they're looking for visual bands, and lo and behold, metal bands have been living in that realm forever. Bands like, Kiss are out there, and Maiden's out there, and every Twist is out there. We in a live performance, we're all about being visual. So which was great for metal, they latch onto the metal bands and use us to help launch their network. But then in '85, the word comes down, we're gonna cut back on heavy metal now. So I called up MTV, you actually just 1-800-MTV. No, I called them MTV, and I said, hey man, what the fuck? I said, give us our own show. And metal fans are diehard. You just tell us we've got a show, it's our time, and we will find it. So he said, well, there's this woman named Liz Nealon's been talking about that. If you'll host it, we will do it. So I said, great. So it was called Heavy Metal Mania. So which is what became Headbangers Ball. So after 18 months of hosting Heavy Metal Mania, I said, hey, now mind you, this is '86 now, okay? So I said, hey, how about paying me for doing this show? They go, oh, gee, we don't pay money. This is great promotion for you. I said, you're fucking kidding me, right? I am so overexposed. My career's almost over here. Fucking pay me. Well, we don't pay people. So I left. They changed the name to Headbangers Ball. They went through a couple of hosts, and then Ricky Rackman became the official host of Headbangers Ball. Traded a tall, thin guy for a short, pudgy guy. Seemed like a good idea at the time. I make a lot of friends. Go ahead.
In 1985, I think, you and Frank Zappa and John Denver testified in front of the Senate for parental monitoring and stuff like that. Can you talk about that? And
No, I'm under a gag order. I can't speak about it. 25 years later, fucking government's up my ass. No, okay. 1985, the PMRC, Parents Music Resource Center, some senators' wives wanted to get some ratings on rock records. And an illegal hearing was held in Washington. It was illegal, because you're not supposed to have hearings, use government funds to have hearings unless something's being considered to be made into a law. And they couldn't make that a law. But it was just because it was Al Gore's wife, and it was, Susan Brown, who was another congresswoman's wife, that they got this special hearing done. So me, Frank, and John Denver were asked to come and talk on the behalf of rock and roll. I don't remember, it came to my management office, I remember saying, fuck yeah. To me, going into Washington, it was like carrying the flag into battle. I just viewed it, they were asking me to carry the flag, and I just pictured the legions of headbangers following behind me as we charged. And I charged in and turned around, and there was nobody fucking there. All right? All the other bands laid low. Everybody stayed the fuck out of it. The fans, now, and some of you, a lot of you may be exceptions because you're exceptional people. But for the most part, they didn't get the significance of the whole First Amendment thing. It was the old, hey, now I know which records to buy. Okay? But that wasn't the concern. The concern was being unable to buy those records. And I was right, again, because stores would not rack the records with the warnings on them. They wouldn't carry the records with the warnings on them. This was the concern. It wasn't about informing parents, that's fine. But to prevent art from getting to people, to decide for other people what they will and will not hear, what they will and will not be able to purchase, that is wrong. And that's why I was there. And it was much worse than people realized. It got worse than I realized. Because the bigger chains, the Best Buys and Walmart, they forced the record companies to make edited versions of the albums for your purchase that you didn't know about. So it's one thing, fine. With my kids, I'd love to know, hey, we got an edited version of Tenacious D's record without Fucker Gently on it, because we all love Tenacious D in my house, but that song's a little hardcore for my 6-year-old daughter. So I would have welcomed that. I had to make my own little CD just for her with all the bad songs taken off of it. But they were selling you these edited, censored records without you knowing it. So if you went in and bought Kid Rock's first album, I know it's not his first album, it was his second album, but the one with Ball with the Ball and Cowboy Song and all that stuff like that. If you walked in to a Best Buy, the song Fuck Off was not on the record. They had removed it. Okay, and that's on the Strangeland soundtrack. And they did the same thing with other stuff. So, I mean, even videos were being edited unbeknownst to us. I went to Blockbuster and I rented Reservoir Dogs. And I heard so much about the ear, the ear, the ear. I watched the damn thing, there's no friggin' ear scene in it. Like, what ear scene? You missed it? I didn't hold it back. It was rewind. Be kind, rewind. I rewound it and I watched it again, no ear. Found out later that Best Buy was deciding, oh, that's inappropriate for our customers, so we're editing that out. It's fucked up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, censorship is a concern. When art is when people are deciding what you can and cannot hear, what you can and cannot see. For you, adults, that's a problem. So be wary. That wasn't the question, was it? Well,
let's get some applause for that.
It was kind of an answer.
So let's transition a little bit to Strangeland. Talking about.
Ooh, we're transitioning. I saw that on that Bruce Jenner thing. So I've been transitioning for years.
Staying far away from that.
Not doing anything wrong with it. Go ahead.
To talk about coming up with the concept of Strangeland.
That's a good one, actually, because the original concept, I'm not going to go down that path. Don't do it, Dee, don't do it. Okay, I won't go the full story. I'll give you the half Monty. Okay.
The half month.
So I'd written this movie based on these two songs on Twisted Out, Captain Howdy and Street Justice. And I wrote it, and the original script for Strangeland was a straight-ahead slasher script. Just, real true to the form, and it was straight. And I sent it to my dear friend Tom Savini. And I said, Tom, we read this, I really think it'd be great. You can do special effects makeup, and I can be in the movie, blah, blah, blah. And so Tom goes, hey, Dee, I read the script. I said, yeah, what do you think? He goes, it sucks. That one, I was like, whoa. And he goes, but come hang out with me, and I'll tell you why. And let me tell you something, a lot of people won't tell you the truth. They'll yes you to death, and then you don't get the return phone call. And I love Tom to this day for not only telling me the truth, but taking the time, and this is a man who's been around, to explain to me why I was missing the mark. So after sitting with Tom, and he told me that it was done to death. It was just the same slasher thing again, and again. You got to do something new. I started thinking about horror, thinking about the genre in general, and thinking about the fact that every movie played off two fears: people's fear of being chased and dying. And I said, well, what is worse than being chased and dying? Being helpless and not dying. Suffering. And at that time, nobody else was thinking like, this fucked up dude here. And I said, oh. So I started exploring, and I got into the whole body mod world. And I remember Suzette, I told you about Suzette. Suzette's always my first line on everything, so I'll play her a song first. By the way, she didn't like, we're not gonna take it. I was like, she's right about everything, not that. I waved it like a flag. It's the only time I was right. And anyway, so I write Strangeland, I give her the script. I said, here's a script I worked on, want to read it for me. Like an hour later, she comes downstairs, and she's holding the script, and she's like, you got something you want to tell me? I said, no, why? She goes, what the fuck is that shit? Who am I letting? She turned into Sam Kinison. I said, those are my nightmares, not my dreams, babe. And she stopped, she went, oh, okay. Because I literally said, what scares me? What would terrify me? Because this other shit doesn't bother me at all. When you're running from the bad guy, there's a chance you can escape, and they sometimes do. When you die, there's peace. Your suffering is over. But when you're helpless and you're suffering, that's brutal. And so anyway, so yeah. Yeah. Suzette Kinison, yeah.
You mentioned Tom Savini. Can you talk about the makeup process in Strangeland and how that went on?
Yeah, Michael Burnett, who was a student of Tom Savini's, and again, you guys are horror fans, you all know about Tom and how giving he is and how many, there was no secrets with Tom. He just openly shares with young people, and if you're on your way up, and that's why he gets the respect of people like Tarantino, who Tarantino met him at a horror convention, and Tom was gracious to him, and he never forgot it, because that's the kind of guy Tom is. So Michael Burnett actually worked with Tom on a Twisted Sister video called Be Cruel to Your School, creating the zombies. So when we were interviewing, I forgot this. Tom didn't get the gig as the makeup artist for Strangeland, and there's a reason why. Fucking nuts. Okay. So I'm Tom, they're making Strangeland. Dude, I want you to do special effects. Awesome. I got ideas. Tom comes in, meeting, boardroom, all these friggin' suits in there, and Tom's there, and he opens up his briefcase. He's sitting at the end, I'm sitting there, and Tom's going, blah, 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 blah. And then I see, and he whips out this fucking massive blade. I mean, like fucking Crocodile Dundee blade. And then he comes into the room, and he's waving this fucking huge knife around, and the fucking suits are like this, ducking, and when he left, he went, he's not fucking working this movie, he's psycho. And I was like, what? That was awesome. That was you, sir, but everybody else was fine. So that's how Tom lost the gig. Well, Michael Burnett didn't swing a blade around in the room, and he and I sat down. I had a vision for Captain Howdy. When I say a vision, I worked with top tattoo artists in the New York area, top body modification people who helped design Captain Howdy to be true in a what-if scenario. What if this guy existed, and what if he was steeped in this body mod world? What would he have on him? What would he do? So, so with the help of those guys and Michael Burnett's expertise, we put it together. We built a better Captain Howdy.
So, of course, Robert England was in the film.
Yeah.
Talk about working with him and sort of, turning the tables on Freddie himself.
Well, that was an amazing thing. Robert Englund, he is the Boris Karloff of our generation. I mean, he is, and again, another amazing guy and cool guy. And when we approached him to play a victim in the movie, he loved the script and was willing to suffer at the hands of my villain, which I thought was just gracious. I don't know, in a way. I know, and he's an actor, and he views it that way. But it was so cool because even those prosthetics, like where we have him hanging in that cradle, there's no tricks. Those prosthetics just sealed his eyes up. We didn't sew them closed, but still his eyes were sealed shut, his mouth was closed shut, and that was for hours. And you had to function like that. You couldn't eat, you couldn't drink, you couldn't see, had to be led around from place to place until we were done shooting. And that's cool, that's over and above, So it was an honor to work with him. We're still friends. And he has attached himself to a sequel, if and when it gets made, to come back as Jackson Roth. I told him he gets a chance to get even. So he said he's down for that.
Any I Love the 80s stories?
Any what?
From when you did the VH1 show, I Love the 80s and
Yeah.
90s, any good stories from anything they cut out or anything that might have happened?
Well, anything good that happened in the 80s.
No, I mean, like from the show, like when you were filming the show, like the series of shows that you were doing.
Oh yeah, I love the 80s shows.
Yeah.
You know what? I really, you sit in those I Love 80 sessions,
Right.
and you just literally, and there are cameras all around, and they just fire off like memory after memory. And sometimes you go, I got nothing, go, I got nothing. And there's just so many that you do, it just become a blur. So I honestly can't actually tell you, like, I remember anything specific. Other than they're very intense. It's kind of like being grilled by the cops. Where were you on the night of?
I appreciate it, thank you.
So I was doing some research for the panel, and I read that for you, wearing the cardigan was one of the hardest parts to film during rehabilitation, is that?
Oh yeah. For some reason I had more problem being Carlton Hendricks than being Captain Howdy, and I don't know what that says about me. It's not good. But man, I was just to play a character that was that withdrawn and that meek and that introverted, and the shirt buttoned up to the top and the cardigan sweater on and that sort of nervous hair behind the ears guy. It gave me knots in my stomach. I was getting an ulcer playing the character of Carlton Hendricks because he was just so not me. And at some point, because we were shooting those scenes for days, I said, I got to figure out a way. I'm going to freaking I don't know what's going to happen to me, but this is not good. So so what I'd do is whenever we would break, I would take off the damn sweater, unbutton the buttons, and roll up the sleeves, and take off the damn glasses, and just sort of try to break character, because to stay in that kind of character for any length of time was just debilitating to me. So yeah, that was much tougher for me to play that.
Wearing your wife's clothes was easier, no?
Wearing my wife's clothes, no problem. That's all about being extroverted. That's all. What do you call a fake? Yeah. How many fights I got into because some guy called me a fag while I was wearing Daisy Dukes and fishnets. Like, what do you call a fag? Yeah. No chip on my shoulder, folks. No chip. Not at all.
So I also read that you wrote all the news newspaper clippings about the case for the.
Yeah, something that recently came up. Somebody said, I read all of those things. Yeah, I since I wrote the movie, I had the weird position of being starring in the movie and then having to do rewrites. So there was times where I'd be like in full howdy, as we call it, sitting at a laptop, like rewriting a scene. So there's these fake newspapers, and my director says, you gotta write content. And I can't just write, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, like 1,000 times. It worked for The Shining. They said, no, you gotta write articles. So in those fake newspapers that flash on the screen, I wrote every article in those papers. So if you freeze frame them and focus them, there's some useful information about the arrest of Captain Howdy. Yeah, they're not worth reading, really, they're not. Not a very good reporter.
So at the end of the film, when your character meets their demise, your body looks super real in the fire. What did you guys do to film that? What kind of effects did you use?
They set me on fire. It was so fucked up. Not cool, guys. No, it was a 3-stage thing, the whole fire scene. Stage one was me with a burn on burning my legs. So that sets it up, that I'm actually on fire, and that's a hell of an experience. And then the stuntman doing a full burn, and then finally in the end, it's a full prosthetic Captain Howdy hanging on the hook. So it's actually a full life cast of me on the hook. So it was really effectively done transition. Like I said, it's going from me to the stuntman to the life cast. And yeah, my favorite part, and it was totally by accident. It's just one of those happy accidents. Is when that huge chunk of his flesh just rips out of his shoulder on the hook, and that was an accident. But it was like the body was just supposed to stay there hanging, but it just falls with this chunk of flesh on it. It's like, oh, that's brutal, so brutal. Death Clock fans? Any Death Clock fans? Yeah, okay. Good title for a song. Chunk of shoulder flesh. Anyway, so that's my favorite part of that end scene.
So one final question before we wrap this up. You got a cameo in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. How did that come about?
Pee-wee's Big Adventure. For those who are old like me, you know that Pee-wee, when he started out, he was just a comedian. He was an eccentric, weird comedian, but it was all playing clubs and college crowd, and so I got turned on to Pee-wee before he became a child star or whatever, not child star, but a kid's star. And so we were at an MTV New Year's party, and we were both appearing there, and we ran into each other, and I said, dude, I love your shit. He goes, dude, I love your shit. And not like Pee-wee though, not at all, so it's totally Paul. I love it, back and forth. So, and then he calls me up, he says, hey, I'm making my first movie. And Tim Burton directed Pee-wee's Big Adventure. But Tim wasn't Tim at that point. Nobody really knew who Tim was. He was a friend of Pee-wee's. And so he goes, will you do a cameo? So we were in LA, the band was, and we shot the cameo, which got me turned on to just writing screenplays. Between writing the twisted videos, which I did, and seeing what was going on a movie set, how insanity is brought to life on a movie set, I said, I gotta write. But so Paul asked if we would, if we would do the shoot. And my favorite moment though is, so we're not gonna take it. I want to rock. So Paul goes, so you guys are like shooting a video, and he talks like that when he's not Pee-wee. You're shooting a video, and he says, what song are we doing, Paul? What, like I Want to Rock? We're not gonna take it. He says, fuck no, man. You're doing Burn in Hell. It's like fucking Pee-wee. Yeah. So I'm down with Pee-wee. We have time for any questions from the audience or no? I know the question that people want answered. I'll answer the question.
We can take a couple questions.
Okay, go.
Oh, no, let's go fine. Yeah, Lance Rocket kicks ass, man. And
Let's rock it.
clearly, because you're a hilarious guy, that you brought him to life. What was your initial reaction whenever you read the script when you got introduced to your character?
Awesome, great. I like that question. Lance Rocket, Holliston, any Holliston watchers here, you should. If you haven't seen Holliston, find it. Okay, I play Lance Rocket. He's a manager of the cable station, and he's in an 80s tribute band called Diver Down. They play Van Halen covers. And he walks around all the time, full 80s spandex, glam, glitter, the whole thing. So Adam Green says, hey, you want to play this character? I said, I am totally down with this because I can make fun of every single other band that I ever knew. This is awesome. I'm going to be like the cheesiest 80s guy in the freaking world. So the first day we're shooting, I put on a pair of striped spandex, a red leather jacket, studded bracelets. I mean, I got it down, like the most lame-ass, cheap-ass 80s outfit ever. And I'm cowboy boots outside the pants, and I'm walking to the set, and some grip from another shoe goes, "Yo, Dee, still rocking the outfit." And I started staring. I don't know. Like he thought this is how I look, and this is how I walk around. So I remember Adam's curled up in the fetal position in my dressing room, and Adam's going, "It's okay, Dee. People don't really think you look like that. He's just one asshole. Come on." Still rocking the outfit.
Anybody else have a question for Dee?
Thank you for carrying the torch, heavy metal. Appreciate it.
You are welcome. I see all the way in the back. I see a hand. Oh, we got one. Okay, we got this guy's got the mic. Helter Skelter.
Yeah, I got the mic.
Okay, you got the mic.
Huge fan of the House of Hair radio program.
Thanks,
Didn't know
brother.
if you would. I'm a firefighter, and we all listen to it as a crew when we're together on Sundays, and didn't know if you would explain how the experience came about and some of the good and bad experiences.
House of Hair started 20 years ago. I was approached about hosting this, and I had been in radio for over 25 years, so I've already been doing some radio, and I was approached to audition for the show. And I found out later that it was me, Nugent, Kevin Dubrove from Quiet Riot, and Rita Ford were auditioning. And I got the gig. And I remember running into Kevin, and Kevin said, "Dude, you got the gig." I was up for that gig too. I said, "Yeah." He goes, "What was your audition like?" I said, "Kevin, fucking full on." He said, "Shit, I knew I should have gone for it." Kevin had gone for, and now we're going to hear some Motley Crue. This is Shout at the Devil on House of Hair. He went like FM radio DJ guy, and I just went, wow, you know, fully caffeinated. And they go, "You are the host." Crazy man. Oh, this guy right there, yeah.
I always been a huge Twisted Sister fan since the early days, and an Alice Cooper fan. And I'm just curious, how was it shooting the video for Be Cool to Your School?
You know, when Twisted broke, Alice's name, and this may be hard to believe, was a dirty word. Alice had gone through that period where people had sort of forgotten about him, and he himself had been through some shit. If you've seen Super Duper Alice Cooper, you know, little known fact, he was a crackhead for a while. I mean, yeah, and in Super Duper Alice Cooper, he talks about it for the first time. But those of us in the know, we just have to look at him. On some of those album covers, he's like crack out of his brain, you know. So, but I was an Alice fan, and so when people started asking me, like they asked Gene about where you get your moves from, Spider-Man. Oh, I said Alice Cooper, man, and I just sang the praises of Alice Cooper. And he contacted me in '84 and said, thank you for acknowledging me and recognizing my contribution. This is a time where he's pretty low in his career-wise, and he sent me this like dozen black roses with an Alice Cooper comic on it. It was real signed, and we became friends, and which was amazing to hang out with one of your heroes like that. And so when it came time to do the Be Cruel to Your School video, I asked him, well, first the song, I asked him to duet with me, and which he did, and then I asked him to do the video. And my favorite moment is we're getting ready, and I'm getting my makeup on, and Alice comes in, and you know, and like I said, this is like coming out of a lull for him, and he goes, "Do you think I should wear the makeup?" Like Alice Cooper saying to me, "Wow," because he hadn't worn it, and I'm like, "Fuck yeah, man!" I'm like, "Fuck, that's Alice Cooper." He's like, "Okay, all right," and he goes in it like the first time in like many years. Puts on the Whiplash mascara again for the first time, and that was just so fucking awesome to be a part of that, you know? Amazing. And we're still friends. Alice is an amazing guy, amazing guy.
Everybody, put your hands together.
Top of guns, Gene is watching. Plus, I don't want to get covered with spider webs.